All right, good. I'm liking these levels, I think. Hey, everybody, my name is Dale. Welcome to the NetflixExplorers podcast. Patrick.
Shut up, Dale.
All right, good. Good enough. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the NetflixExplorers podcast, the podcast where we karate chop these Netflix movies so you don't have to. From the 1890 studios, my name is Dale.
I don't know how daylight savings time and traffic are correlated, but it's a thing. People forget how to drive when it's dark. I'm Adam.
Ireland's out, Denmark's in. I'm Patrick. Next person, please.
I'm straight drinking all of Dale's scotch.
That's Josh Roeda. Today we're going over Mindhunter, Gone Baby Gone, and Stranger Things 2. Please stick around. And hello to all you gentlemen. Pack Studio, to my left. Josh, what's going on, dude? Welcome back to the podcast, brother.
Thank you, man. I'm happy to be here.
You were here...
To talk some Netflix.
Yeah, man. You were here, what? I mean, many moons ago. I dare say, what, midsummer maybe?
Yeah.
June, July. You stopped in for a little bit of... it was definitely...
Star Wars.
Patrick's most hated director of all time.
That one guy that Wes Anderson.
Yes, Wes Anderson. You stopped in for Wes Anderson, didn't you?
No, that was... That wasn't
you stopped in. That was someone else.
That was my alter ego.
You know, either way, we're glad to have.
Are you in the Witness
you.
Protection Program?
Yeah, also,
the Wes Anderson Protection Program.
Maybe you shouldn't be here. But anyway, no, we're glad you're here, man. Glad you stopped in for a handful of these. I know you're a Stranger Things fan. In fact, I've told this tale before that you were at my house at circa 11 p.m. Hey, man, let's watch one. I said, okay. So
that was my birthday, by the way.
Oh, that's why I remember it so
July
well.
21st. Just throwing that out there.
So we watched the first one. It was midnight. You had to head home, and I said, well, maybe I'll just watch one more. I watched the whole first season. Sun came up, 6 a.m. It was all over. So anyway, I'm happy you're here for Stranger Things 2. To go
no
over
gaskets were installed in the Chicagoland area that day.
Absolutely not.
Where's the bat?
Patrick, thanks for being on the podcast again, brother.
Yeah,
I know you're in a sour mood. Ireland did get smoked by Denmark this afternoon.
We don't have to talk about it. We can move on to Adam. Adam, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Wonderful. Denmark fan over here. Dale, what movie are we doing?
Wow, moving quickly along. It's a hostile mood here. You got Adam, light, playful. Patrick, angry, despondent.
Irish.
And Irish. Okay, enough said. All right, guys, today we're going over Mindhunter, Gone Baby Gone, and Stranger Things 2. What's first up, AP?
Mindhunter.
I don't have any notes in front of me. Patrick, give me some deets on Mindhunter.
Well, I think it's got a 8.8 on or it's either 8.8 or 8.0.
8.8. Very high. That's why it's on the docket.
Yeah, I
wanted to check this out.
Saying 8.8 on IMDb kind of like comes off the tongue. It's like, it can't be that high.
I know. I agree.
I know this show is...
I watch it and I can't agree either.
Cream of the crop. I know after
Zing.
episode 1, it's not as enthralling as episode 2, episode 3. The deeper you go, the deeper you get, and you just can't get out of the muck.
Yeah.
I was at Patrick's house last night picking up some podcast equipment, and he was rolling on this first episode of Mindhunter. Where'd you hear, or was that Gone Baby Gone?
We were watching Gone Baby Gone, but the whole time I couldn't stop thinking about.
And you kept telling me about how good it was and how I should keep watching. I didn't listen to Patrick, which is normal. So, let's go ahead and roll the trailer on Mindhunter. This would be, I don't know, this describes the whole series, right? We only watched episode 1, but this is the whole series. Do you guys know what's in this trailer?
No, I've never seen this trailer.
You never seen it?
If we want to omit it, that's fine, because I could talk about the first episode
I mean,
all
it's
day.
a great trailer, guys. I mean, hey. Trailer's Trey. That's what they do.
Play on, brother.
Yeah.
It's not easy butchering people. It's hard work.
Very true.
Physically and mentally, I don't think people realize.
A Netflix original series.
There's a lot more like me.
Ed Kemper, the co-ed killer.
You know who that looks like? John Hodgman.
Well, there was a lot of flashbacks of who that looked like. I went back to high school.
Yeah.
We travel around the country and teach FBI techniques to cops.
So that guy's from House of Cards. What else is he
She
from?
was found cuffed
and lashed.
Who's from House of Cards?
That one, his buddy detective guy.
The younger or
he's
the
not.
older guy?
No, the older guy.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's in
no
House of
idea who you're
Cards.
talking
He was in
about.
House of Cards. He's like the.
He had a titular line in House of
I don't think
Cards.
we're allowed to talk about House of Cards
Are
anymore.
criminals born? Or are they formed?
Psychopaths are convinced that there's nothing wrong with them, so these men are virtually impossible to study. Yet you have found a way in near perfect laboratory conditions.
I haven't seen any of this.
Ladies,
That's what makes this
Seen
so
none of this.
exciting.
Right, no, this is all new to
So
me.
far-reaching.
I don't know about this trailer.
these guys rub off on
Not gonna lie.
the way
Spoiler
they view
alert.
sex.
And women.
It is not our job to commiserate with these people. It is our job to electrocute them.
We can't like everything we do. We're talking to serial killers.
Serial killers.
New terminology.
I'm trying to warn you, your attitude is going to bite you in the ass.
So young to be ruining people's
He's
lives.
got a great
what
voice.
did you do?
You're developing a pattern of behavior that will not sustain you here. Agent Ford, if you leave, I can't help you.
There's no procedural rule book for how to talk to these people.
If any of this is going to work, we need to talk to more subjects. More!
You want truffles? You gotta get in the dirt with the pigs.
Whoa!
Nice quote.
Mindhunter.
Mindhunter.
Crazy if we don't know how crazy thinks.
That guy's in House of Cards.
That's the line right there. I think that's the line. It's we can't be ahead of crazy if we don't know how crazy thinks. I think that kind of sums up the whole premise.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you're gonna say for the tagline, or is there an official tagline for this thing?
The
we know?
tagline.
Yeah. Do we know the Patrick? What do you got over there?
In the late 1970s, two FBI agents expand criminal science by delving into the psychology of murder and getting uneasily close to an all-too-real monsters. So you got two FBI agents that troll around the country talking to...
This takes place in the mid-70s.
Correct. So they...
A lot of cool cars also in this
Yeah,
one.
these two FBI agents go traveling the country. They talk to like different police departments. And then the two police departments ask them, like, hey, can you take a look at this? Can you take a look at that? They go, yes, we can't solve this, blah, blah, blah. And then you move on. But then...
So they're just like FBI agents for hire kind of thing for local law enforcement?
No. The FBI sends them to police stations to kind of teach them some FBI tactics, kind of like give them a little tips that the Bureau has learned about mass murderers and stuff like that. Well, basically, it's kind of a tale of... It's a transformation of how the old school meets the new school in terms of solving crimes and the
psychologically
and the behavioral analysis of serial killers.
Okay.
So you heard him in that trailer, the serial killer. What term is that?
Right.
Like this is when they started figuring out like, hey, serial killers exist.
Like the mental game behind it. Kind
Which
of
I
thing.
didn't
like sequence killers at first or
yeah,
something like that.
which
'cause
I
they would kill multiple
didn't
people.
realize. Like before 1977, apparently serial killers were living large. They were just killing it.
Right.
Literally.
Nice.
I mean, like nobody
They had a
even
good racket.
nobody even knew what they were.
Right.
Like you
that
know,
might be the darkest joke you ever told.
maybe.
That was pretty dark.
I don't know. I'll think of a good one for Ireland to come to get you with later.
God damn it.
No, but go on, Adam. You know, you're right. This is like
so
all new not technology.
So you got
but all
this young
new theory.
FBI agent who's like what causes criminal behavior? He's obsessed with figuring out what drives the criminal mind, and his obsession kind of infects others. And he kind of painfully pulls some strings to the FBI, and they said, "Okay, we want you to start talking to serial killers, or not serial, like killers from the past, and like interview them, see what you can find, see if there's any common ground. What can we learn from the people we have already locked up?"
And correct me if I'm wrong, this guy's kind of like a wonderkin. He's a younger guy, but he's really like making advancements in the psychological part of this. Am I right?
I don't know
in
if he's a
saying that?
wonderkin. He's just a very curious guy.
Okay.
He's just a guy
He has to
that's-
convince a lot of people.
Yeah,
really, too.
He's just a guy that's very passionate about what he thinks, and he wants to learn, and he wants to explore.
Okay.
And he thinks this question is more important than anything else.
Okay.
So he's got passion. I'd say.
Josh, did you go beyond episode 1, or did you just do 1 for the cast?
I'm on episode 3, and then I wanted to watch Gone Baby Gone just because there was no way I was getting through all of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I mean, did you feel drawn to keep going through episode 2, 3, 4?
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely going to finish this.
Oh, so
yeah.
you're hooked.
Oh,
What
yeah.
was it? I mean, what is it about this story? I have some things to say, but I want to hear your take. Why is it dragging you to episode 2? We were only supposed to watch episode 1 just to kind of bust it open for the cast, but why did you want to keep going? I mean, I'm going to go to Patrick Ness, and I'm sure he's ready to roll, but
It's
why did...
classic David Fincher, man. It's
Okay.
like everything about that his storytelling really draws you in. I mean, when you think of, Seven or Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I love those films. I mean, it definitely has his touch like all over this film, and the way he develops characters, the way he reveals characters is very compelling, and especially within like the first 5 minutes of the first episode, you're just like, the way he's handling that situation, it really draws you into like, okay,
Yes,
like
right.
this is
That opening
Yeah.
was something else. I
Yeah.
mean, it was something I've never seen.
Yeah.
It opens on a hostage negotiation.
Sure.
And it's a very cool thing to start off with.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, how it ends. All right, we're quickly moving on. Patrick, now, again, I was over at your place the other night, and you were pushing me to go episode 2, episode 3, and beyond. Why? And tell me what's drawing you in, man.
So when you watch episode 1, there's a long, drawn-out scene between him and his future girlfriend, and that takes up a good portion of that first episode. But the second episode, you get introduced to Edward Kemper, the co-ed killer, and that kind of like really defines what the next episodes are going to be about for me. So once you get introduced to these pre-70s serial killers and the people that are portraying them, it's really like not polarizing, but like it really defines the series as what it is. So that's why I say...
Is that why I never made it past the first episode? Because the second really solidifies. I mean, the first episode was a ton of setup. You had to get the players right. You had to get the girlfriend right. You had to get his FBI training, kind of, I don't know, mentor-y, but his other half, the other guy he works with. Did I... Just by watching the first episode, did I miss the progression?
I'd assume, yeah, definitely. Because, like I said, there's probably that scene with him and his girlfriend at the bar probably lasts 10 to 15 minutes of a...
Which I kind of like. They had subtitles while they were talking in a bar.
That was really cool with the loud music. They were listening to a band play.
I wish I had that when I was at bars.
Sure.
Because I can't understand what anyone says.
Right.
I just go, haha, yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I just asked you, what did you want to drink? you just laugh and say, hi, yeah, sure.
Sure.
I don't know what a yeah, all right is. With ice? I don't know.
Just
Adam,
make it.
did you go beyond first episode or no?
Yes.
Okay.
I watched episodes 1 and 2.
So you got sucked into the second one. As somebody who watched the first one, what did I miss being drawn into the
Well,
second?
I want to hear what you didn't like about it.
Oh, well.
Why don't you tell me what you didn't like about it, and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Here's what I didn't like about it. Dialogue was pretty much just read directly off of cue cards. They were holding them directly to I believe, the left side of the lens, because all the characters' eyeballs were off to the right, and they were reading. You could almost see their heads go from word to word.
Were they supposed to look directly into the lens?
No, they were supposed to actually talk like they're real people, because this is a movie or a show where we should accept these characters. But they were like, well, maybe when the killer went to the home, he killed them. Maybe it was just all of it was the dialogue for me. Just was like, come on. I was watching this. I was sitting on my island taking notes, having a little bit of dinner, had this up on the iPad. My wife was dominating in Risk on the couch, and she just yells from the couch, "This is terrible to listen to." And I go, I agree. I totally agree. It was just real skippy and direct dialogue. There was no emotion behind it. I don't know. Did I pick up on that or what?
Do you remember what scene it was?
Yeah, the first episode.
Yeah, you're talking about mainly with him and the girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very, yeah, I can see what you're saying.
A little dry.
It's a little dry. It's a little kind of, it's like.
Not worth
it was
watch.
Empty emotion.
Yeah, it was like.
Because you have two of these people who, one guy's really excited about being an FBI agent and an FBI teacher, and he's excited about what he's doing. And then you meet a chick who ends up being his girlfriend, who is very involved in the psychology of how people work. So you're like, oh man, they're on the same thing. One's on crime, one's on just life, and they're talking about something they both love, and they're just not looking at each other, they're looking at cue cards, and they're not involved and engaging. They're just kind of blabbering. I don't know, Patrick.
Yeah, in the first episode, she doesn't play a huge part, but in the second episode, she kind of coerces him into how to approach
Okay.
one of the killers. So her role wasn't as predominant in the first episode, but in the second episode, it builds a little bit more.
I gotcha.
But
Her goal is to get him off the cue cards and to get into his.
Yeah, you
sorta.
can't let the whole girlfriend 20-minute first episode thing ruin this for
Okay,
you.
okay.
That's like
Because another thing, the guy, I call him from House of Cards. He was like the other.
Detective? Or...
No, yeah, the other detective from House of Cards, whatever his name is, he was great. He was like a great actor. And he was real emotional. He was talking with the main character, and he was telling him like, "Man, you know, you got to get out of these guys' head. You got to be careful around talking about this and talking about that." And the other guy's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that I was supposed to not talk about the emotion."
Well, that's kind of his shtick throughout the show.
Right.
So he's real fresh. The FBI, like he's like just recently out of college, recently into the FBI. Like he's pursuing the psychological aspect of,
Which is something totally new in that era.
correct.
Okay.
Correct. So that's why it looks like when he's on screen, he's not a traditional FBI agent from the 1970s, but he is an FBI agent that's actively pursuing something, and he's trying to figure it out. So he's new to the FBI in the sense that he's a whole different aspect of the FBI.
How they deal with stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
how they approach it.
Well, then that aside, let's break this down as an episode. We're the Netflix Explorers. Let's either sell this or kill this. I'm obviously on the, obviously I've been told that I got to go beyond episode 1.
Definitely.
To really get the gist of it. I think
you're like, you don't want a whole 20-ounce juicy fillet because there's some fat on it. Like that's kind of what you're thinking. That's kind of
well. How about this? There's a lot of fat that could have been cut from the first.
Well, if you just flipped your plate and looked on the other side, then you started from that side.
So episode 2 and beyond is the other side of the plate.
You got to start through the fatty side. You got to go through the fat to get. You got to dig through a lot of earth to get to the gold.
How many analogies do we get? This is fantastic. Both I'm hungry and I want to go dig for gold. So, okay.
Now you know how I feel all the time.
So now, again, we're the explorers. So what I'm hearing is, you know what? It starts off rocky. I think it's I think the episode 1 is a lot longer than it needs to be, but the weight of the setup is going to pay off throughout the rest of the series.
I think it's just such a cool concept that the concept far outweighs kind of mad dialogue.
The mad dialogue.
I think the concept will carry through in the day,
right?
And I think it's just gonna get better and better. I don't see it slowing down, and I can't wait to keep watching.
So you're gonna keep on killing it, Josh. Why do our listeners need to go on to episode 2?
Because in episode 1, did they even get to that interview with the first? Yeah.
No.
So once you get there,
that's the whole essence. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like once you get to the first interview with the serial killer, you're like, okay, like you could see the character development, and you can.
So I got a little buried in like kind of new dialogue.
You got buried in setup.
Okay,
I got buried in
setup, but the payoff is coming. Mm-hmm. Patrick, why do I got to keep watching? Why do our listeners got to go to episode 2?
Same thing, like the co-ed killer interview, and then you move on, and you have all these other killers that you didn't know about from your 8th grade history class. They never taught you about 1970 killers, and this is a far more interesting subject.
You didn't take serial killers in high school?
I did not.
that was Adam's major. All right, well, tell you what. Let's just go into rewatchability and recommendability. Adam, looking at you, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish watching it. I'm kind of glad that even though we were only supposed to do the first episode, we kind of went in a little heavier. So, because I think you needed a good 1 to 2 episode look at it. I think
that's what I'm hearing.
When you're looking for, I think what people want to know is, hey, I'm looking for a new show. Should I try it? I say absolutely yes.
Okay.
Rewatchability? I don't know. I'll let you know.
Yeah,
I'm not there yet.
Why don't you?
I'm only on episode 2.
We need a full recap once you're done.
Yes.
Josh, looking over at you, man. Are you going to rewatch and or recommend? What are you going to do?
I don't know if it's hard to say that you rewatch anything, but I don't think I would rewatch it, but I'm definitely going to finish it.
Would you rewatch The Prestige?
No, I've seen it once. I'm good.
Okay, all right. No. Whoa. If you're watching on a live feed, Patrick just broke his beer bottle over and he's ripping his shirt. Hulk Hogan
I don't
style.
need the shirt anymore.
Nolan's awesome. I own the Prestige, but I've never put it on again.
Okay, so what about recommendability? Is there anyone that you think you'd just tell about
I
this?
think this is good for everybody because I use my wife a lot in examples because it's like we have opposite tastes in movies, and she's definitely a little bit more of the rom-com type.
Sure.
But I had this on, and it sucked her in too. I mean, and I thought, this is going to be creepy, give her nightmares type of thing, and she was just like, "Yep." We just kept on watching it.
That's a great point. I watched this with Jenna because she loves crime shows. Like, she only watches shows unless there's some kind of crime element to it. So I'm like, I got this show, Mindhunters, it looks great. Let's watch it. I'm going to put it on the docket so we can start watching it together.
Oh, nice move there.
Dude.
As the docket master, it plays into personal life. Nice work.
Yeah, think people say podcast, how's that not ruin the marriage? I use the podcast to strengthen the marriage.
Nice work.
But I think this is a great show to watch with a significant other or watch with somebody like, hey, coming home, let's watch an episode. It's an hour episodes, so it's a good show to watch with somebody.
Okay. Patrick, rewatch, recommend, brother.
Going off of what Adam just said, I could not agree with him more. I disagree with him more because in that first 5 minutes, there's kind of like a spoiler thing that happens. I was watching it with my girlfriend. She goes, "Ooh, that is gross," and she was immediately turned off for the next 50
Just
whatever minutes.
Graphically speaking? Can I
Yeah,
say that?
he
does something graphic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she tuned out, went upstairs, and decided to grade papers somewhere else. So she was done. But as far as rewatching this and recommending it, I rewatched the first 3 episodes just to get on board and in the mindset of the podcast. So I watched those last night. And then as far as recommending it, I could not recommend this show more as of the off season of HBO's Game of Thrones, and Westworld.
Right.
I would recommend this show.
This is your
place.
gap show.
Definitely.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe that's a good way to do it because now I gotta watch it with Jenna and I gotta wait for her to be off work. Or I can just go home and watch it tonight.
Rookie mistake.
I know.
It's amateur hour.
Maybe I retract what I said earlier.
She can watch it on her own.
Yeah.
Well,
Dale's on the Netflix account. I don't know why he skipped ahead to episode 5.
Can you clear cache on Netflix? Does anybody know?
Busted. No, I'm going to go ahead. Okay, tell you what. I will keep watching this one. Although my wife called out the bad dialogue originally, I will tell them that 3 of the bros said proceed. So I'm going to go ahead and continue watching. And recommendability, I don't know. As far as I'm seeing so far, I'm not going to make a claim. I mean, I'm going to go ahead. I don't know. So far, I will try to watch it, but I'm not going to recommend it. But either way, let's bring this one down the liquor store aisle. Josh, do you have a liquor store recommendation for Mindhunter? What kind of compares to this one? What do you, as you walk down Litgo's aisle here at beautiful Cherville, Indiana, what kind of jumps off the shelf that you can kind of compare this one to?
Besides a rat.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's that.
Yeah. I would say 3 Floyd's Gumball Head because it's it's classic Fincher, like I said before, and I just love David Fincher and I love Gumball Head. I don't know if that's a good
perfect combo.
comparison.
That makes more sense than a lot.
And
of
I was
things.
drinking one while we were watching it.
Oh, well, there you go. A double. Wow. Adam's astounded.
A+ drink review.
Wow. Patrick, looking at you, man. Bring us down the liquor store aisle.
Going down the David Fincher aisle, I have to give it a Johnny Walker Black. I mean, it's not like Fight Club level, but it's not. It's better than.
It's not red.
No, it's definitely not red.
Okay.
That's for sure. You know, when I think of David Fincher, I think of like the camera movements and the scene setups and all that stuff. But everything about this series is just so much better than House of Cards. And now that House of Cards has been canceled, I'm so excited to see Mindhunter.
Oh, boy.
Just continue on for 15 seasons and
Wow.
just blow me out of the water every season.
All right. Adam, looking at you. Bring us down the liquor store, brother.
I gave this a Captain and Coke. Every time I drink Captain Morgan, I black out. So,
do tell.
Yeah. So I think it's like a show where, I have one drink. I'm like, oh, Captain. Oh, okay.
You're in.
I need some more.
Right.
Let's go.
Right.
So I'm in. I want more.
You're sucked in.
I'm
You're
sucked
locked in.
I want more. I don't want to remember it. I want to go on a ride. That's kind of where I'm at. So,
Okay.
What do you got?
I have written down a 2 watery mojito. You're like, man, I'm excited. There's something new. I'm not a mojito drinker all the time. It's not like my favorite drink in the whole world, but I'm on, it's for the cast. I'm on board. I'll have a mojito if you want to, but it's made like extra watery. It's like somebody like poured a bunch of ice in and it's like already had water in it, and then they like made the mojito so it wasn't as sweet as it should be. It wasn't as didn't pack that punch with the alcohol. It just to me it wasn't all there. Dialogue wasn't all there, and like the story like didn't hook me like a mojito would just. I'd want another one after another one after another episode. So it's kind of a watery mojito for me. But I will say, you guys have sold me. I will continue on with the series. But for me, as of the first episode, people, if you're listening, if it's a watery mojito for you, get ready. Adam's got a rum and coke for you.
Yes.
Perfect.
Next one up, Gone Baby Gone. Adam, roll the trailer.
Anything for you, sir? Ominous shots of a house.
Yes. A lot of dolly work,
Doors opening slowly.
There's a child in a bed.
She goes across to Dottie's, then she comes home, and Amanda is gone.
Who would take my little girl? She never hurt anybody.
Welcome to Boston.
Child is on the street. If we don't catch the abductor by day 1, only about 10% are ever solved.
Morgan Freeman.
This is day 3.
I am not from Boston.
Do
Miramax
you
Films.
know people in the neighborhood who don't talk to the police?
One or two.
We want to hire you to augment the
What is it,
investigation.
Southie in Boston? Like every movie that's ever shot in Boston?
Bingo.
Southie.
That's,
yeah.
Who is that? Casey Affleck?
Casey Affleck. Ben Affleck is the director.
Right.
I think Mr.
Morgan
McCree's
Freeman,
also
Casey
moving to
Affleck.
help the
Who's
neighborhood
the
aspect of this
chick from The
investigation.
Office? Do we know her name?
I
She
don't
was
know her
Michael
name.
Scott's girlfriend.
Right.
But yeah, but she's actually from Queens, I believe.
Guess who? You asked me to find some people.
Sorry,
for you.
guys.
Think I
Sorry,
found them.
non-professional.
You're saying you didn't do it. Fine. If it turns out you're lying, I'm gonna bribe cops to go after you, and I'm gonna tell everyone I know that you're a CI and a rat. And I know a lot of people. At least 2 guns in the house.
What else?
Squad will be here in 5 minutes.
You're not gonna wait for them?
We're not waiting.
Boston waits for no man.
I can't think of
Every
one
time I think
reason they
of
got
Boston
them to
movies
lie
with
that's
Boston
wrong
accent, I'm always
about
like, what's that one bit? It's like, non-stop?
It didn't take long and hard before
Yeah, non-stop's over there.
The police.
Bahaba.
I think it's Bill Burr.
Come here trying to get noble.
Ed Harris
And don't
is
try to
in
take
there.
on
He's
something you don't have the shoulders for.
Ed Harris.
You're not on my
Rock
side.
star.
If you see me coming, you better run.
Big
because I'm
cast.
gonna lay you
Big cast.
down.
Big cast.
This child, it's all I care about. I'm gonna bring her home.
Casey Affleck, Michelle Monaghan, Morgan Freeman, Ed Harris.
How much? What did you do?
Where I come from, you die with your secrets.
It's the kind of thing that if you do, Patrick, you want to be sure. Are you sure?
No.
Gone.
Baby gone.
Okay, can we just stop 1 second? When has Ed Harris been in a bad movie? Name one. Josh? Ed Harris. When has he been in a bad one?
I can't think of
Okay,
one.
Patrick. Okay, got a
Pass.
head shake. Adam? Ed Harris, when has he been bad?
The
Do not say that one train movie. What's the train movie?
Train, baby, train.
No.
Choo Choo.
This time.
It's for real. No breaks.
No. What is the train movie? Oh, God. People are yelling at their podcast players right now.
The train movie.
The train, it's got, what's his name?
Unbreakable?
No.
No, I'm thinking of The Long Walk. Remember The Long Walk?
No, it's, no, dang it. What is the train one? Come on, I watched it at our friend Jimmy K's house up in Colorado. Shout out to Jim.
Thomas the Tank Engine?
No, that was, you know what? I did watch that one while I was there. This is,
The train one.
Not Geo.
Train to Busan?
No, keep going though, and I'll let you
Snowpiercer.
know. Yes, nice work.
No, it's not Snowpiercer.
It is Snowpiercer.
He's not on Snowpiercer.
He is in Snowpiercer.
Is he really?
He's the main bad guy.
Oh, dude, Snowpiercer's pretty good though.
I was gonna say.
Such an ironic role for him. Hey.
What?
Dale's drunk.
All right, guys.
What'd you think about Gone Baby Gone, Dale?
You know what? Here's what I think. I started to watch this one. I watched it last night. I was excited for it. I saw the cast. I know that it's a big player. I know Morgan Freeman was in it. I was at Patrick's house when he started it, and I was like, "Listen, I got to go home. I'm going to watch it on my own right."
Do you remember what time it stopped at?
It was at 30 and 41. It was exactly when we stopped at 30 and 41, which is a road here in the region right by the 1890 studios. And so that's how I knew. I was like, all right, 30 and 41, that's where I got to stop. 30 minutes, 41 seconds.
Yeah, I remember that because he did a whole bit about how 30 and 41 is like the crossroads to hell.
Right, and this
between
movie
here
was a
and the
crossroads
Reach.
to hell. So, no, thus far. That far in it. Now, I'm going to fight, actually, my early self on this one. It drags at first.
Wait, is this a classic battle between present Dale and past Dale?
Yes, that's exactly what this is.
I love these. All right, buckle up.
So I started watching at Patrick's house, and I had to roll out, but I started watching it. I started where I stopped at the house, and I went, you know what? This movie is actually really good. It does drag at first, but I mean, halfway through, it's like at the half. I look because I was getting kind of bored with it. I tapped the screen and I saw I was halfway through, and I went, you know what? Right as it started to get good, it was exactly halfway through. So I was super excited to keep watching it. And once Ed Harris's character started getting a little more ground in there, he didn't show up in the first little bit. It started to get pretty exciting. I mean, I like this one. Josh, what about you, man?
Well, I did the same tap on the remote to see how far along I was because, man, it looked like they were starting to wrap things up. Like,
sure, right.
With the quarry scene and all that, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, where am I? Is this the end of the movie?
So and then I was like, whoa, there's like 50 minutes left.
Sure.
And then I was like, okay, so this is a sign there's some twists to come.
Yeah.
And
they're just building up for something.
They're just building up for something. But man, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I was engaged the whole way through. I really like I said, I tapped because I was curious, like, where is this going?
Right.
But
well, I mean,
and it spoke to me. It was kind of close to home because I have two girls that age, and so like my wife and I were watching this, and we're just like engrossed in it the whole time. We're like looking at each other and
locking the doors.
I mean, we don't do coke or anything, but like, it's
but it was similar.
But it was, I mean,
but yeah, we have girls.
Apples and oranges,
right? Now, real quick, I mean, we watched the trailer. Does anyone have the IMDb? Little what do you call it, tagline out there a little bit? Patrick, I'm looking at you, the note master. What do you got for this one? This is Gone Baby Gone. Give our listeners what kind of the tagline is real quick.
Two Boston area detectives investigate a little girl's kidnapping, which ultimately turns into a crisis both professionally and personally. IMDb 7.7, crime drama mystery. Runtime of 1 hour, 54 minutes, and a budget of $19 million.
So, Patrick, looking at you, man. Again, we started at your place. What do you think of this one? I know you were kind of bent out of shape of the Boston accent, but do you want to share with our listeners why I told you that one of the main female characters, how it was?
It's not so much as that it's not an authentic Boston accent. It's that it's a Boston accent. And I just don't know anybody from over in Boston. I just do not like their accent. So it was kind of a turnoff, but I stuck through the movie, and the movie outweighs the accents.
Okay.
And, it's just a solid movie throughout. Yeah, definitely.
Adam, looking at you, man. Do you stick around for this whole thing?
Yes, I did. I kind of feel the opposite of Patrick. I like the accents more than the movie. Usually whenever there's a usually whenever there's a Boston movie like the Afflecks, like, yeah, Southie. What are you, North Shore? Yeah, dude, I'm all about it, dude.
Right.
Yeah, I love a good Boston movie. Yeah, like, yeah, go Bruins. Let's go.
Right.
Right. But
they're a little over the top sometimes.
yeah. But hey, I'm fine with that. Hey, I love a good Boston movie with the Afflecks.
Right.
Great. Like those guys have done some good work.
Sure.
For themselves and their cities.
Well, and you know what? I'm going to stop here real quick. I was at Patrick's house. I'm going to throw him under the bus real quick. Patrick said this exact line. Hey, man, this was directed by Ben Affleck. Still trying to make Casey Affleck look good. And I went, Casey Affleck has done some great films.
See,
I'm still waiting to see him. Which ones?
I'm with you, Patrick. I think it's kind of like I want to like Casey Affleck. I just never do.
Manchester by the Sea? No.
I didn't see that one.
What about
give me a Manchester by the Sea?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What about the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert?
I didn't see that one either.
Never seen it.
I watched Stagecoach. I don't think I need to watch anything else.
So, Josh, looking at you, Casey Affleck, main lead. Doable, or is it Ben gave him a hand up?
Yeah, Ben gave him a shot there. I don't know if this was pre the
what's the year
Jesse
on
James
this one,
movie,
Patrick?
but
The what?
What's the year on this one?
2007.
Yeah,
Okay.
2007.
Oh, so it's early.
Okay, yeah.
In his career, I would.
I think
mean,
this
he
is
was really young.
this is the first time Ben Affleck gave Casey a shot, because I know somebody who was it. I know it's before. What is Ben Affleck's current movie about?
Gone Girl?
Gone Girl. I know it's way before
Yeah.
Gone Girl. I
thought he got the title from the.
I think it was. Who's the guy that plays Thor? Chris Evans? Chris Hemsworth?
No,
Chris Hemsworth.
I know
Hemsworth. Yes.
Chris Hemsworth auditioned for the role that Casey Affleck got.
Okay.
So I know it wasn't just Casey was like, okay, point at this.
Okay.
We're gonna shoot.
Chris
it.
Hemsworth's Australian. I don't know how you do it.
I must be a little biased on Casey Affleck because
biased in a good way
I'm
or
like,
bad way?
yeah, in a good way because I watched
Manchester by the Sea.
Ocean's 11.
Once too many times.
Ocean's 11, but pre that, what was the Good Will Hunting?
Okay.
And his role in Good Will Hunting, as small as it was, I don't know, there was just something about that. Like
I haven't liked him since that movie.
Yeah, but that was. That was what I just makes me like.
Movie.
That's what makes me like Boston movies because it was just I don't know. There's something about that.
Yeah,
movie
dude.
that
Good
really...
Will Hunting, Departed. Like there's some good.
Not on the same playing field as
Patrick,
this movie.
you did not like Good Will
So
Hunting?
Patrick, you're
No, I like Good Will
I
Hunting. I liked.
You got past the accents.
I made it over the accent hill and then onto the climax plane, and I was there for the.
And you held it there.
I love this movie. I love this movie. Topography.
Dude, Pardo was great. Good Will Hunting was great. Gone Baby
That was
Gone.
on a disappointed plateau.
Definitely, yeah. It was on the decline of dirt.
No, but my point is, I like those movies, like Good Will Hunting, Departed, Boston movies.
Do you like that Boston attitude, or is that
I love
what is it about?
I love it.
Okay.
I thought this movie was going to join those in this coveted realm of Bostonian cinema, but it did not.
Wow.
But it just fell short for me.
Okay.
Well, anyway, we can get into it.
No,
Go ahead, Dale.
let's keep talking. I mean, again, I said it dragged at first. It kind of, I'm a Casey Affleck fan. I think he's got great potential. This movie was made 10 years ago. I think he's got it there. I liked him in Ocean's whatever. He's been in the last few. He's a dynamite actor. Ben Affleck aside, as a director, this movie was fine. This movie was perfectly subpar throughout most of it. But I do like, and I'm not going to dip too much into it, but I'm going to tell our listeners, there's a twist you're going to want to stick around for. And you know what? I'll be honest, I did not see this one coming. Some people, Adam's good at this. Adam reads into movies. He sees the ending before I even get close. Maybe that's why I'm a sucker for kind of these more, I don't know, not as
sympathetic.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't see him coming, and I get surprised at the end. And Adam always calls me out on it. But that's what makes this one exciting for me. The story, it keeps you there, keeps you there, keeps you there. It doesn't rattle you, but then the ending rocks you. So, Josh, what do you think about that?
Well, the ending in particular. I mentioned to my wife when we were watching is just the issue or the dilemma he had to deal with about doing something right. And I don't want to give anything away. I don't think this is a spoiler show, but it's the whole thing was a question of what is he able to sacrifice to do something right. Like that was like a huge. That was like the question of the movie.
There was an issue of personal like morality and like what do you think is right now, and what do you think is like long term right, and like what is really like what do you really think is right like legally, and what do you think is right morally?
And they don't answer that at the end.
And it's up to you to decide. And that comes together at pretty much towards the end. I'd say the last quarter of the film or eighth of the film even. It really makes you think. Patrick, did it hook you right in the beginning and keep you going the whole way through, or is it just you had to just watch for the podcast and just get your way through?
Yeah, so you were over for like the first 30 minutes, 41 seconds of the movie, and I didn't really want to come back to it after the first 30, but I eventually made it back after Stranger Things Season 2. Which was,
okay.
And I really didn't feel like it was worth the first watch.
Okay.
But the second watch through, if I ever get to it, I think would be much different knowing the ending versus what...
So it's got a hair of prestige to it.
Not the diameter of a hair.
Sure.
Maybe half the diameter of a hair.
Right.
But I think it's got like that real film on the top.
And just to inform Josh and our other listeners of late, shout out to our London listeners, our Ohio listeners. We talk about rewatchability after we talk about these movies, and we talk about the prestiginess. The Prestige movie, I'm going to go ahead and blow it out of the water here, has quite a reveal at the end. It has a prestige at the end. And when you rewatch the film, knowing what you know at the end, you're watching basically a new movie. So what Patrick is saying is he's watching it initially, and it, the story builds, and ends. Twist ends. While when Patrick watches it again, potentially knowing the twist in mind, that's like the prestiginess of the film, if you can get my meaning. Mm-hmm. So Patrick, touch a little bit on how the prestige of this movie would affect a rewatch?
Yeah, so like when you're watching it the first time, you're just taking in like, okay, this is how Kathy Affleck feels. This is how Ed Sheeran feels. Ed Harris, that's right. Ed Harris. How Ed Harris feels. But then when you watch it the second time, knowing how the movie ends, you'll see the motivation of why the characters did what they did.
Sure.
Why Casey Affleck did what he did. Or I think his character name is Patrick in this movie. I could be wrong, but it might be.
Couldn't pick a better main character name.
I could not agree with you more with what you're doing over there, Dale. Definitely, Patrick's a great name. Name your kids after him. Name your podcast after him. Name everything after him.
This is now the Patrick Podcast. Adam, Gone Baby Gone. Tell me what you thought about this one. Did it keep you there the whole time, or did you just mandatory watch for the podcast? Meh? You're the docket master. Why'd you pick this one originally?
Well, because it looked really good. And,
okay. It's got the players.
High rating. It's got a great cast. It's got the whole Boston vibe we already talked about. I thought, like, hey, this is a good one. It slipped through my movie cracks. Came out in 2007. I kind of want to watch this now.
Sure.
So that's kind of the logic they went behind picking that for that docket.
Right.
It sounds like you guys all kind of like it, but just for me, I didn't do it for me.
I'm going to do a heavy meh, but... it's not terrible. A good meh. But why didn't it rock you? Was it the character? Was it the dialogue?
No, I mean, it's just kind of... You're just going through the motions. I just felt like I was just going through the motions. And then like, oh, twist! I'm like, okay, well... That's a twist, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that, okay, but that doesn't... The twist didn't rock me enough.
You weren't interested in finding a twist.
I wasn't interested in finding a twist.
Gotcha.
And then you have to go through such a slog. It's an emotional, dirty, gritty slog.
Yeah, it is. It is a long setup.
But I do really like the last 6 minutes of the film, like how we talked about.
Agreed.
With the whole, what do you do as a person? Do you stick by your principles? Do you do what your wife wants you to do?
You know what? It asks the audience a question. I really think, like, maybe that kind of touches on what Patrick is talking about, like how maybe a rewatch would shake you differently. It asks the audience something different than what the rest of the film did.
It is a great ethical question at the end, and I think that. Well, I agree with Patrick though. I feel like there is a prestige vibe to it, where I would like to rewatch it again to see if any of that feeds through.
Yeah,
but I don't think it does.
Okay.
So I don't think that's why I like the twist, because they didn't hint at the twist, or there was no.
Oh man, that twist hit you right over the head. You had
Right.
no idea it was coming.
But there's no linkage. You know, if there was linkage, you're like, oh, I remember. Oh, that's why I did that. Oh, that's why I did that. No,
Right.
None of that.
No, I think you're right. I think that twist only works with the setup you get watching an original time.
Right.
I think if you watch it again, you already know what's going to happen. The twist doesn't make that much an effect. I don't think it plays in like the Prestige. You're like there's constant scene by scene.
Disagree.
Okay.
Because I can't spoil anything, or I can't give
be
away
careful,
what.
be careful.
No, there's definitely like there's some lines in the movie that allude to what the character really feels versus what the character did, in how
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So
Spoiler watch.
I'm on spoiler watch. If you do anything wrong, I will.
Whoa! I didn't get the mantle.
I'll just scream at you through the horn.
All right.
That's exactly how I want it. I want somebody's.
I'm going to go to Josh on this one. Josh, these guys have been saying, due to the ending, maybe it's worth a rewatch. I'm looking at you. Does the twist at the end warrant a rewatch, or is it that the ending only works with an initial watch? What's your rewatch and recommend?
I do agree with Patrick and Adam on the rewatchability. Like, you could watch it again, and knowing the knowledge, knowing what's coming up could help you like look at things differently. Because again, I was really confused when they were like revealing the twist,
right?
Like all the things that they were going back, and I don't know if it's spoiled, but flashbacks and stuff. And you were just like putting the pieces together, and it was like blowing your mind that like, well, this is so left field. Like even these flashbacks don't really make sense. Like you would never catch that stuff.
Sure.
Or like
So you think a rewatch would kind of help?
Rewatch would
put those
help,
together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there were so many people too in the movie that you were like, they were saying Lionel and da 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 da. And I mean, even in fact,
cheese.
Like,
I still don't know who cheese is.
So I was like, but like some of them, like they probably knew that making the movie, because like the one guy always had a Lionel patch,
sure,
like on his shirt,
yeah.
And you were just like, oh, that's Lionel.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think that's the only character I knew. Yeah. But so, what about recommend then? If somebody, are you going to tell someone to watch this one?
Yes.
Okay.
I would recommend it.
Okay, cool. Patrick, looking at you, man. Rewatch, recommend. Is it worth it?
Well, this is a curious movie for me because I wouldn't recommend a watch for it.
Initial watch, first time watch.
Correct, but I would recommend a rewatch for it.
That's strange.
Definitely, because
so you recommend a double watch?
A double watch would be perfect, because the first watch is like, oh, this is an okay movie, but when you rewatch it, you're seeing why Ed Harris is motivated for this. You're seeing why Casey Affleck is motivated for this. You're seeing why Morgan Freeman is motivated for why.
Okay.
That's the problem. So this is it. Runtime is hour 58, but actual sit down Netflix time you have to devote to it is about 4 hours.
4 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
Adam, looking at you, man. Rewatch and recommend.
I agree with Patrick. I think this is the first one we ever do recommend the rewatch.
Before the watch.
Before the watch. I recommend the rewatch. I don't recommend it.
It's got a little prestige to it.
It does. Okay. It does. Not enough Morgan Freeman, though.
Of course.
That's in my notes. Like,
budget.
You got Morgan Freeman there. He's there. I mean...
He's on set.
He's there for the beginning and some other part of the movie, but not that other part of the movie.
Well played.
Not enough Freeman.
Dodging that mantle.
I think he's dancing over the mantle mines.
So you're there for the watch and rewatch. And what about recommend? Do you think somebody should just watch this one, or do you got to be?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Adam. I'm gonna do the.
Well, I think I read all the reviews, and people like loved it, or they read the book first and hated it.
That's another thing we
very
touch
divisive.
on.
The book.
The book. So I think that's maybe we talked about a lot of characters. I think in the book that works.
Right.
Movies not so much.
Right.
So it sounds like the book's the way to go.
Okay. All right, yeah, and I'm kind of on the same board as you, Adam. It's like if you want to dive into it and watch it twice, you'll get a lot more out of this movie than the original watch. So I'll recommend it in that sense. Get ready to watch it twice because I think it may pay off better for you. But tell you what, guys, let's bring this one down the liquor store aisle. This is Gone, Baby Gone. Josh, looking at you, man. Bring us down the liquor store aisle, brother.
I would go with a Purity vodka with a lemon twist.
A what kind of vodka?
Purity vodka with a lemon twist.
I know exactly what he's talking about.
Okay.
Is that like a clubbing vodka? Like if I get table service, do I get Purity?
It's a high-end vodka. I don't know much about this.
So this is a high-end movie with a tasty twist.
Yeah, I could have gone with the obvious Boston Lager, but you told me that was
No,
taken
you
already.
can't do Boston Lager. We'll get back around to me. Patrick, looking at you, man. Bring us down the liquor store aisle.
Well, going off to the Boston Lager.
Wait. Okay, go ahead.
I gave it a Sam Adams, and then I gave it, like, you're drinking that Sam Adams, and all of a sudden somebody throws a shot of Fireball at you, and you got to take it real quick. You take it, and you move on.
Okay.
I was thinking someone throws a shot of Fireball at you. You got to catch it?
Right in your mouth.
It
Or in your
could
eyes.
go one or two ways.
Adam, what about you?
I had Fireball in my eyes one time. That's the worst pain you'll ever experience.
Wow.
Good to know.
Did you mistake it for eye drops?
Well, no. I saw someone was pouring it to me on the second floor of a balcony, like over the edge.
Jesus.
This was at the last podcast, by the way.
And their pour,
Gerda?
like, completely screwed up. It hit me square in the face. I had Fireball all over my face. And it was in my eyes. I wanted to kill myself right there. It was awful.
Did this movie make you feel the same way?
No, I put Jameson.
Oh.
Hey!
People like it.
I love it.
I don't.
It's an Irish whiskey.
It's a beautiful whiskey.
So it's a good drink. People really like it, but it's just not for me.
Okay.
It's just one of those things where I don't agree with the mainstream. I feel like so.
All right, cool. I got as everyone said, I got a Boston Lager. This is not my first choice as a beer. It's a good beer. It's a fine beer. It's got good characters of the beer. But am I going to have another? Well, not if I'm paying for it. If you brought one to me, I drink it, but I don't think I'm going to watch it
Casey
again.
Affleck is the hops.
Exactly.
And Ben Affleck is the foam.
Deal. I do not want that.
Ed Harris is the sugar.
Okay, well then I'm in.
Morgan Freeman's the glass.
Adam, I'm glad you see my drink review so perfectly. Yeah, that's my drink review. Last one up, guys. We're talking about Stranger Things 2. This is the whole reason we brought Josh in on this podcast. It's the one we want to dive into. We're kind of trying to be...
It's a great choice because we both love Stranger Things.
Yes.
Josh loves Stranger Things.
Yes.
Patrick hates it. It's a perfect doctor
This
choice.
is like how the Netflix Explorers works.
I really want Patrick to dive in and tell us what he doesn't like about Stranger Things.
I'm excited to bring that up, guys. Let's go ahead and roll the trailer if we could, and we'll talk about Stranger Things 2. All right, so what do we got, Adam? Set me up.
Audio.
Winter in the Woods.
Typical.
You got 11 coming up to the food, the Eggos that the sheriff left
Hopper.
her. Hopper left her. So you got that. It's Halloween.
Sort of shadow.
They're the Ghostbusters for Halloween.
Maybe all of this
All your favorite characters are
is
back.
happening for a reason.
Weird CGI car drive scene. Like,
say that again.
That was a weird CGI car drive scene.
back to here.
Agreed. Very weird.
So you still got the problems at the lab in Hawkins.
This thing.
He said it was all in his head.
Will, the guy that was in the Upside Down,
Right.
is having some issues
Okay.
with the Upside Down.
Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder still trying to find what's wrong
Paul
with her.
Reiser.
She was
Paul Reiser.
Very
Dynamite
good.
actor.
Very good. 11, moving things to their mind again.
Indeed.
She's always fantastic. She's got hair now.
Netflix presents.
It's like it's reaching a target. If anyone knows how to destroy this thing, it's Will.
Sean Austin.
Dynamite.
Dynamite.
Don't you think it's weird how we only seem to hang out when the world's about to end?
not like it was before. It's grown.
It's Judgment Day.
Judgment
Which is
Day.
why we need as much help as we can get.
Guns being shot, people fighting in the upside down, running. Lots of good stuff happening right now.
You should go now. It's almost here.
We're getting a lot of good visuals here. Quick.
Stranger Things 2.
You still have that bat?
Bat? What bat?
One with the nails.
Spoiler alert, he does have the bat with nails in it. Stranger Things 2, Josh, looking at you, can you give us a synopsis or can you give us a tagline for Stranger Things 2 or no? What do you got for this one?
Stranger Things, Season 2, Episode 1. As the town preps for Halloween, a high-scoring rival shakes things up at the arcade. A skeptical Hopper inspects a field of rotting pumpkins.
Ooh.
Well, that sets up the...
That's just the first episode, not the whole season.
Yeah.
Well,
I couldn't find a synopsis for the entire season.
I mean,
unless I wrote it myself and I didn't want it to be too biased.
We're going to try to dodge what the whole Season 2 is. Real quick, Josh, did you watch all Stranger Things 2?
Yes.
Patrick, all of Stranger Things 2?
Episode 1 and 2.
Okay. Adam, all of Stranger Things 2?
All of it.
All of it. Okay, so we're all there. Patrick's pulling kind of a Mindhunter, as I was in. Okay,
I wouldn't call it a Mindhunter. I wouldn't put it on that great level, but yeah, go for it.
Oh, wow. Okay, so not a great level talking about Stranger Things 2. I got a few questions. I mean, this one, we're trying to be a little bit time sensitive. We're going to be a little late behind the Stranger Things 2 release. We're maybe a month behind, but people are still talking about it. It's still hot.
I will say the people that are on it have probably watched the whole first season. The people that are on the fence have probably watched 5 episodes, and people like me that have watched the first and second episode have already fallen off and are already watching Mindhunters at this point.
Okay.
Because I believe this episode...
Did you watch all of Season 1 of Stranger Things?
I watched the 3.5-minute recap, which is basically the whole first season, right?
Wow. Okay. All right. You know what? We're not biased on this show, although Patrick is an idiot. We're not going to... Adam, I'm going to look across at you, man. Stranger Things 1, or first season. Did you watch it?
Yes.
All the way through?
Yes.
I mean, we heard...
Twice.
Okay.
Whoa.
Good. Good to know. I told you my story. Of course, I watched it originally, days after it came out, the first season. And then the second season I knocked out in, I think, 2 days, maybe not even. I think it was within a 24-hour sector. Josh, did you watch? You watched Season 1, of course?
Oh, yeah.
Season 2?
Season 2, all the way through.
Okay,
Yep.
so you're on board. Let's break this down. I mean, Patrick is just, he watched the recap, episode, I guess, of Season 1. Josh, I'm looking at you. Season 2. I mean, how does it play off? First thing I'm going to touch on for all you guys is how does Season 2 play off of? Does it grow? Does it grab from Season 1?
I think... Sorry to interrupt you.
Sure.
That's the question. I feel like
that's why I'm the pod master.
It's how does Season 1 compare to stack up with Season 2?
I'm
glad you set it up that way.
I want to grab either from it or what did it do beyond it? Josh, looking at you.
Setting it up.
And I'm knocking it out of the park. Did it grab from it? Did it go off of it? Is it his own thing? And I'm going to go on to more questions beyond that. But
here's the thing. The Duffer Brothers had a huge responsibility here because Season 1, despite President Company excluded, was beloved by
alluding
a lot
to
of
me,
people.
I believe.
Wait, real quick. I'm going to stop everybody here. Did you guys watch the Stranger Things 2 Netflix round table?
Yeah.
Behind Stranger Things or whatever it was?
Beyond.
I haven't watched it. I saw it, and I immediately skipped over it.
Okay, very interesting. We all didn't watch it, but if you did watch Stranger Things 2, very interesting, very fun to watch. It was just a round table with some of the actors as it went through some of the episodes.
Remind me about that later. I have words about that.
Okay, we'll have words about it. But Josh, go on. Season 1, Did it drag from it and go beyond, or did it just scrap it and just build its own story in season 2?
Here's the thing that I took away from it is the Duffer Brothers had a huge mountain to climb. Like they had to handle this. They had to handle this very delicately because season 1 was so beloved, and like what they had to do with season 2. I mean, I even felt it getting into. I was like, how are they going to top this? I mean, they weren't even.
What can they do?
They wrote this to be just a season 1, and
Sure.
that's it. And then Netflix was like, well, we need to recoup our expenses. You need to make a season 2.
Now I'm going to stop you real quick.
Oh,
now,
damn.
did they know season 2? I thought they went 1, 2 and recorded one after another. Is that true? What was the story?
It's not true.
So they
Negative.
they made season 1, let it claim a fame,
Yes.
and
Well,
go into
they were told partway through filming season 1 that they have to have a season 2, and then from what I understand, I could
Sure.
be wrong, but like, and then
I love
they
this
had to
backstory.
twist the ending of season 1 so that they can build onto it into another season.
okay.
But they didn't know how that season was going to be, and I mean, if you watch Beyond Stranger Things, or if you listen to some of the other wonderful podcasts out there that
I
talk
don't know
about
of any other good
There
ones.
are no other podcasts out there.
Yeah, and so they had a huge responsibility. I feel like this season took me. It had to do a little bit of romancing on me because I wasn't into it honestly at first,
Right.
Because it was different. People looked different, and they were
Yeah.
going a different direction.
Sure.
And you can obviously see it. So it took me a while to warm up to that. And then I would say
real quick,
Mhm.
get a little more clearer on what needed to be warmed up on, because I want to really dive into this. Josh, go on to what needed to be warmed up to as opposed to season 1. What do you need to dive into?
What's
a little
going in the microwave?
okay, this might sound crazy, but I feel like they had they kind of knew. You can sense that they knew they were a big deal and they were liked.
Okay.
Like behind the scenes, and then they were playing into that because they knew what people liked from the first season.
They had the aura.
So they had to play on that, and I felt like that the whole way. I was like, oh, they're playing to this and that and this. But once I got through that, it was fine. And I don't want to say specifically, but like it was just they had more budget, so they were able to do more things. Definitely upped the CG. Like,
sure.
CG
definitely.
everywhere.
Yep.
Like it was, and that
if
was
you
a little
watched-
disheartening to me because I was like, I really liked how little CG
The
they
raw
used.
side of it.
Yes, I really did like that, and I think they struggled with that, but they had the budget, and it was easier to do it that way. And
if you watch that Beyond Stranger Things, you listen to the director or the directors. Well, I mean,
brothers,
the director. Yeah, they talk about how they're like, all right, we got a little more budget, we can mess with more CGI, and they didn't do a lot in the first season, but they did in the second. Adam, you watched season 1 and you watched season 2. Why is someone going to be brought into season 2 as opposed to just stopping at season 1 or not bothering going into season 2?
I really enjoyed season 2. I thought, like kind of how Josh talked about, that they knew what chords worked and they stuck with their greatest hits.
Right.
So it's like a concert. You go see someone in a concert. They just released their second album. They're still going to play all the greatest hits. They're still going to play
Now
what got them there.
You're talking character-wise. Like if a character's funny this way,
You got all your favorite characters.
Right.
You got new characters.
Yeah.
And they integrate the new characters with the old characters very well. You have some old characters that you hated that you kind of grow to love. They kind of all the characters kind of take a new trajectory.
Right.
In the second season.
Yeah.
Who was the main boy? I can't remember his name.
Will was the
not Will, the other guy.
Mike.
Yeah.
Mike. Very different.
With the bat with the nails in it.
No, that's Steve.
Oh, that's Steve. My bad.
Mike is the boy.
Sure.
Who's got a
crush on 11?
Yes. Yes. He is very different from season 1 to season 2,
Right.
and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So I think, and they have new characters, like I said, coming in. So I thought it was a breath of fresh air, but they still knew what to do to get you to like it.
Sure.
So, and then let me see here. What else? I had one more thing. Another thing I liked was in the first season, I feel like, okay, here's the main thing going on right now. This season, there's like 4 main things going on all the time, and you're like, oh my god, that was nuts. Oh my god, that's nuts. Oh my god, we haven't even got to 11. What is she doing right now? You know, so like there's like 4 different storylines
There's a
going
lot of
on,
pots
and they're
stirring.
all very important, and they all intertwine back at the end.
Right.
So it was very cool. It's a very cool ride.
Right, because you built off the first season. Like, you know your characters and you know what their flaws are and you know what their, to use their gaming terms, their powers are. I mean, and in the second season, they're all, I mean, everything's elevated. Let's say they put it at 11.
Well, the first episode.
I understand that.
The first scene in the first episode, I thought set the tone very well.
Right.
Where there's, the chick 8.
Yeah.
Like that
No,
was.
dude, and you know what?
Dude, spoiler.
Can we? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It's in the trailer.
It's in
But we got to be careful with that because
It's in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, agreed.
Of the trailer or of the episode?
Of the
first
episode
That's
one.
a 3-minute spoiler mantle.
That's point. No, it's not. It's 0.025% of the series at the beginning.
No.
And one
I
episode
watched the
dedicated
episode.
to it.
It's one episode. They get into that. Okay, I'll just take the mantle right now.
Why are you taking the mantle?
Because I just said there. I just said she's in. Did I said she's in one episode?
Who?
No one. Okay, moving on. So now, Patrick, I like it. Adam likes it. Josh likes it. Now,
America likes it.
That's not true.
Now, Patrick, bring your claims to the table.
Well, walking into this episode, I had to watch that What You Missed on the first season, so I watched that. Then I dove into the first episode, and I had my girlfriend Val sitting next to me, and she was the compass to guide me through episodes 1 and 2.
Okay.
And so anytime, like, anything that I thought was of significance, I threw it over to her, and she said, "Oh no, that door opening wasn't of any importance. Just blow by that."
Okay.
And so then stuff like 11 trying to go through a hole in a wall, I was like, "Well, why is that important? Why is this important? Why is that?" It didn't feel like anything that carried over from season 1 mattered in season 2.
Okay.
Other than what happened in episode, the last episode was episode 10 or episode 8.
I want to say 9.
9 of season 1.
Okay.
Didn't really matter carrying over into season 2.
Okay.
And so it felt like if I would have watched episodes 1 through 8 of Stranger Things 1 or season 1, wouldn't have mattered in Stranger Things season 2, episode 1 or 2. Like, I just watched the episode 9 of season 1.
Right.
Got everything I needed. So that kind of made me feel like I would have wasted 8 hours.
So you're saying Stranger Things 2 wasn't that impactful? It didn't matter if you didn't watch season 1 of Stranger Things. Is that what you're saying? Like, if you just had a little bit of backstory, you could just dive into season 2 without any.
Yeah, but then building off of what they would have established in season 1 wouldn't have really mattered through season 2, episode 1 and 2, because I just don't find any question being proposed to me in season 2.
Why keep going?
But don't you miss like
Yeah.
character development and like introducing characters?
Well,
I mean,
you can't forget. Patrick just watched the recap of season 1. He didn't dive in, didn't see the character development in that aspect.
I think though what season 1, what you're missing in season 1 is everybody getting to the point of realizing something crazy is going on, and how different things happen to different people to make them think, okay, something supernatural is happening. What are we going to do about it? And then season 2 is like, okay, these people went through this traumatic experience together, and now they're back.
Going off what you just said, like when we walk into season 2, episode 1, like Will's outside of the arcade, spoiler mantle right here, give it to me if I need it. With Will walking outside of the arcade and like having that whole vision of what is, again, I've only seen up to season 2, episode 2, of what is to come. Nobody else really cared about why he was like walking outside of the arcade machine, seeing what he was seeing.
I'm going to quick stop it before you get even farther, because if you watch season 1, you'll know how when he sees whatever he sees, we got to be careful here. Again, we're just the Netflix Explorers saying watch or don't watch. If you notice that, you'll know I think the last episode of season 1, how he gets revealed that is shown.
The whole season's about that.
No. I know what you guys are talking about because I saw the first or that trailer of what you missed in season 1. So I rewatched like the last 5 to 10 minutes of season 1 episode, whatever the last one was, and he's like at the sink, blah blah blah.
Okay.
Happens.
Nice dodge.
Yeah. Then I go into season 2, episode 1, and then I'm starting to see everything that's happening. Then I go into season 2, blah blah, blah 11, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I'm still not seeing why his mom is so unintrusive of what he's seeing, why his friends knowing what he has experienced in season 1.
Right.
Like I kind of have the elements of what's going on with Will,
but not the why.
But I just can't understand why his close group of friends is still so distant from what he experienced. It
so
just tries to,
you went ahead and pulled a me in Mindhunter. I did not watch enough to get the emphasis of it. You did not watch enough of Stranger Things 2 to get the emphasis of it.
No, it's not as sophisticated as that. Go ahead. Will is having visions of the Upside Down.
Correct.
That is a new phenomena to happen in the Stranger Things world. You never had visions before. You went to the Upside Down.
Sure.
So they don't know how to handle this new... They think it's PTSD. Like, how can you have visions to transport you to that world?
That's really the basis of Stranger Things 2.
Yes.
To put it...
Finding the bottom of those visions.
Exactly. We'll gently touch on it. Yes.
But knowing that Will had experienced what the Upside Down is, and his friends know that he knows, blah, 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 why would his friends be so distant when he's just, like, walking off, staring aimlessly into the sky?
Well, he didn't tell them what was going on.
And another thing...
I mean, it's still enough to comprehend, like, oh, my friend's walking out the front door with a blank stare.
They all know something's wrong with them.
No, and Patrick, again, I'm going to stop us all before we give spoiler mantles to everybody. What Patrick hasn't seen, we all know from season 2. The question Patrick is answering is, why is this friend acting this way and none of his friends know it? It does not take long for the rest of his friends to know exactly why he's doing what he's doing.
Well, going off of that, because I don't know if it was in episode 1 or episode 2, but they all noticed that he's like very distant because his mom comes to pick him up from school, and he's like, oh, he's not acting the same, because the whole season 2 takes place a year after, or
I think so.
Yeah, but you have to understand that they thought that they solved everything.
That's
they killed the monster, and it was like, okay, new day.
Yeah,
and so like everybody's kind of going,
and everyone in school thought he was dead.
Yeah,
right.
You know, they call him
Zombie Boy.
They call him Zombie Boy. So like, it's kind of weird to come back after everyone thinks you've been dead for a month. You know,
right. So, Patrick, I'm going to take it off of you, man. Like, I understand you have your qualms with it and, like, the structure how season 1 goes from season 2. But, Josh, talk to me real quick. We're going to break this down as if no one's ever seen. We're going to kind of put us in Patrick's shoes here. We kind of touched on season 1. We never watched season 2. Child actors, real quick. I mean, season 2... again, we kind of watched season 1 maybe if we're an outside viewer. Season 2, how did these guys do as child actors? Because that's very polarizing. We've talked about this on this podcast before. Child actors, did they do all right?
I would say for the most part, yes.
Outstanding.
I would say yes. I mean, I can get nitpicky about some of them that are like, oh, that's a little overacting, like the redhead Mad Max. She always felt like she was a little overacting. Yeah, she did that.
She very bug eyes.
A little over the top.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. I'm not going to nitpick about child actors. But what I love about Stranger Things, and you talk about the actors, is every character is some kind of trope. It's like you follow every character. Has their thing,
every one of them.
And I mean, like because the biggest question I asked at work the next day, the water cooler conversation was like, who was your favorite character? Like, because it was like, well, mine changed from like Bob Newby to Steve, and it was just like I was talking more about characters than like story and plot line, because the story and plot line is just like an area for all these characters to play, and that's kind of how I felt.
I think what you were talking about earlier with the brothers, how they knew how they had to change things. I think the character dynamic completely changes. And your answer for who's your favorite character from season 1 to season 2 is probably different for almost everybody, and everybody like bonds with someone differently. And but I really liked I think my favorite entry of a character was when Mad Max and her brother roll into the high school in this. I forget what car they were driving.
Camaro.
The Camaro, and it's just like, here I am.
Yeah.
Rock you like a hurricane. Like, dude, I kind of watched that, and I was like, Jenna, you guys were all at my wedding. We came into the Bulls starting lineup. But I was like, dang it. Why didn't we come in to rock you like a hurricane? Like, it's the best entry music for anybody.
Sure. No, that was awesome. And also, too, like, we love the original characters, and they only introduced just a few more. I mean, you said the Mad Max character. And
Billy.
Billy seen in the character. And then the, what's the brother's name? The older brother?
The older brother of Mad Max?
Yeah.
That's Billy.
Oh, okay.
And they have Sean Austin.
And then Sean Austin's also
the Doctor
of Hobbit fame and Lord of the Rings, and also Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser, yep.
Is those bring a new twist both in story and character development, and we see how they all interact. Both, I mean, we'll think about it broad and how like the story affects everybody. Paul Reiser's character is really involved in that. You see Winona Ryder, her character is involved with Sean Austin and is Aston.
Sean Astin.
Sean Astin. My bad. Like that's a whole new dynamic for them because we knew her husband was kind of mad in the first season. Mad Max comes into play with the younger characters, and then of course the brother Billy. You said,
yeah, he's like a psycho.
Yeah, he's kind of like involved in like the high school crowd with Steve and with what's the older daughter's name?
Charlotte.
No,
that's not it.
Not Stacy.
Nancy.
No, I was thinking Stacy. Nancy.
Not Barb. She's gone.
No, well, is she?
Spoiler.
Hello.
Well, can you say that? I mean, are we assuming that Stranger Things?
Exactly right.
Well, we all watched
Are we assuming everybody watched Stranger Things 1 at this point?
We all assume. Well, we talked about season 1 on this podcast before, so we assume you guys watched it due to our recommendation. So
or
every
unrecommendation.
Okay, so every new character
everybody's covered now.
Every new character's kind of brought it's kind of bolstered up every area of this film. The younger characters, the mid high school area, the adults, and like the main storyline. Both Paul Reiser brought the big plot bigger. So like everything's been expanded like in every sense. So I think they just brought like a great story that was season 1 into like something greater, which was season 2. But here's something I want to break down just for a second. Josh, the 80s feel, like the Stranger Things, it's got that Stephen King feel, it's got that Scream kind of that era film. Does that help or does that break it? I mean, is that taken away? I mean, personally, I love it. I love that era. I love the simplicity. I love they're on walkie-talkies. They're not on cell phones. They're on walkie-talkies. And hey, I missed you because my sister turned off my walkie-talkie. Well, that would never happen. Your cell phone would always be in your pocket. Does the 80s, does that bring you back somewhere? Or does that help the story? Does that not help the story?
I mean, I'm actually, this is a little bit, this time period is when I was still pretty young. I mean, I think they said 85. Is it summer of 85?
Something like that.
So,
late 80s.
I mean, these are things that carry over into things I remember a little bit. I mean, I'm an 83, born in 83.
83 baby?
Yeah, I'm an 83 baby. But, I mean, I just love everything about it. I mean, this 80s new wave thing coming back. I mean, it's...
yeah, I do too.
It sucks me right in. Like, I love, like, they definitely had a bigger music budget for this film, didn't they? I mean,
Dude,
my goodness, they just kind of... I mean,
let me talk about soundtrack real quick. This was dynamite sounding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It really brought you there. But anyway, I mean, it should have been Daft Punk. But anyway, we're going to move on. I'm just a Daft Punk fan.
But no, the 80s drug me right in.
Okay.
Everything about that. I mean, it just the Ghostbusters and all.
Sure. Like, of course. The Ghostbusters had a huge part.
I mean, it's not a spoiler because it's just like has nothing to do with the bigger story.
Right.
But like the whole Venkman.
Oh, that's a great
debate, and how they touched on that. That was just dynamite. Like brilliant.
I mean, it started. This was this whole second, the whole like second series started on like towards the Halloween weekend, and they all were Ghostbusters characters. And we'll let you guys watch it and see how that works out. Patrick, looking at you for the 80s feel, did that help you at all? I know you're not a fan, but like, did it help it or did it hurt it? Would you like these kids to have cell phones and have their, no bikes, but have their parents drop them off, or what's the deal?
Now, when you talk about 80s films, 80s films today in 2017, I think of like the It Clown movie.
Right.
I think because that was released in September 2017. I thought that gave me a good feel of what the 80s horror genre was like.
Okay.
This movie, not so much. I think they're just trying to play off the magic that was season 1 that coerced you guys into watching season 2. I just don't. It's just fizzling on me. There's nothing.
It
keep me
didn't.
there.
No sentimental to drag you from season 1 to season 2.
Nothing.
Adam, 80s feel. Does it work here, or is it a trope? Is it just lame?
It works.
Could they have played it? 2017. Everybody's got cell phones. They're texting that the upside down monster is coming.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I think it works out with the storyline as well.
Okay.
Because, the monster, we're trying to figure out, it's cool because the monster interacts with the scientific devices they have at the time. Like Sean Astin's character was like he was like, I work at Radio Shack.
Yeah,
check out this stuff and look at this look at this
Radio
VCR
Shack
recorder.
Radio Shack is the cutting edge.
Yeah,
right.
Speaking of which, this podcast is brought to you by Radio Shack.
Right. Which the Radio Shack by my house, I bought pretty much everything they had because they had a 90% off deal because they're going out of business. So if we can date this podcast, if we can date this podcast. Radio Shack is basically
1972 Netflix Explorers coming to you.
But I think it's one thing to be just a gimmick. It's just a gimmick, but
it puts you in the place.
But they put the time period with the technology in the place.
They had historians on set to make sure that things were
really.
Yes, they had. Yeah, they had 80s historians. Like they were like, okay, this was popular this time.
80s
historians. And I know.
Were those like the people from was it like Andy Dick on VH1? Like,
I love.
We didn't have that in the 80s.
Well, I know it was. I know Steve.
CDs, get that out of here.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, like the main, the badass character, his hair all perfect, and he always wore a members only jacket. If you want to date it, I mean, members only for sure. Okay, Adam. So you talked about the 80s a little bit. Josh, I'm going to send it to you. As a fan, as someone who liked 1 and 2, does this series have legs? Can this thing go? I mean, minor spoiler alert. You said it would go for another 2 seasons, but does this thing? In your opinion now, after watching season 2, does this thing roll on to season 3 and season 4 and still get as good as it has been?
TBD. To be determined.
What
I don't know.
Are you afraid of season 3?
I think the
you don't
Duffer
think they have
Brothers are
anything?
afraid of season 3 and 4.
Okay.
I mean, I think that it's great that they can do it, but like I mean, even with this season, I was like, where are they going to go? At the end of last season, I was like, okay, there's a. I can't give it away, but there's
we already went over season 1.
So there's a Eggo in the box.
There's an Eggo in the toaster.
And let's all say that the trailer did show 11
with an Eggo in a box. So like, yeah, I mean, I just remember thinking like, where are they going to take this? Like, where are they going to go with this? And it turns out that they were just scratching the surface of a bigger evil that they introduced in season 2, and so. Can they get any bigger with that evil, or is that the biggest evil? I mean, there's.
So are you excited to see, or are you pretty much expecting to see it?
I'm excited to see because what pulls you into Stranger Things is, like I mentioned earlier, is the characters,
right?
And the characters are what I want to return for. It's it's the nostalgia, it's the characters. That's what I'm going to return for, and the plot kind of takes a back seat to a lot of that. I'm going to be very forgiving on the plot and like where they go with, oh man, that didn't make any sense or that was dumb, because I'm there for the fun. I mean, I'm fully there for the fun of the thing, and
I agree with you 100%.
I think the Duffers are banking on that.
No, I'm totally on board. It's not the story. I mean, even season 1, the upside down monster. Come on. I really love that we have some characters that we really enjoy following their story and seeing how they get out of any, predicament. Patrick, looking at you, man, you're a Stranger Things hater. I'll just go ahead and say it. Do you think this thing can keep rolling even though the lovers love it and the haters hate it, or is this thing dead after a year and a half?
So I think this show is approaching Prison Break status, where season 1 was really good, season 2 was okay, season 3 was really confusing, and season 4 was like, what?
Right.
So I think this show is kind of getting to the peak of the mountain.
It's peaking, yeah, okay.
And I don't know if the other side of this mountain is level and then goes up a little bit more.
Or does it got a hidden peak and it can keep growing?
Or if it has a huge valley that turns into a cliff that turns into the bottom of the, what trench is that? The Marina Trench?
Marianas Trench or something,
the
whatever.
Moriarty Trench. Just way the heck down there.
Right.
So I'm curious. I'll probably watch the season 2 recap.
Okay.
And then episode 1 of season 3
So you
next year.
You have a little sparkle at the end of the tunnel for season 2, but just to see if it falls down in the Marianas Trench.
But only because I hold season 3 of Prison Break a little bit higher than what I assume season 3 of Stranger Things is.
Now, and Josh said in the pre-podcast fist fight, there is 4 seasons slated for it. Or
No,
did you say that?
That was me. That was me. I
So
said it
you
was
said-
renewed for 4 seasons, and I was rather shocked after
Okay.
seeing what season 2, episode 1 held for me. I was like, how could this go on for another X amount of episodes?
I asked the same question though. I asked the same question. I'm there with you. How can it go? And I'm curious to see where they go.
Adam, looking at you, man. Does this thing has legs for a few more seasons? Patrick said it's slated for 4. Do you think the story's going to die, or do you love the nostalgia? Do you love the characters? Do you want to follow these guys for 2 more seasons, 3 and 4 potentially?
Dale, I'd love to sit here and tell you I have all the answers. But unfortunately, I do not.
Okay.
I have been burned by so many shows.
Sure. Okay.
There are so many. Lost.
Okay.
I mean,
He didn't get burned by it.
He's valid.
He did. Who got burned by Lost?
Okay, Josh is an avid Lost watcher, but we're going to let Adam continue. We'll go into Lost later. But no, go on, Adam. I'm interested.
There's just so many shows I've watched and I loved and I've been burned on before. And I like that they're aware, they're conscious of their fact that it could run out of steam, but I cannot say with any certainty one way or the other if it's going to continue or not continue. So I think that's the fun of it, though.
But you'd like to see it.
I couldn't wait for Stranger Things season 2 to watch it and say, "Oh yes, it's still good."
Yeah.
When season 3 comes out, I'll be like, I'll be watching it like, oh.
Well, how about that? I mean, even that reaction is you will watch season 3.
Of course.
Okay.
And
So
as the kids get older, I think that's the part that's really like
Puberty.
Yeah.
How are we going to handle puberty?
And that's my next question. I mean, and we're going to rattle through this one real quick because we want to kind of wrap this thing up here. But Stranger Things, the cast. Did the cast from season 1 pay off to season 2? Josh, looking at you as a big fan, could some people be kind of cut, or did you didn't like their storyline or something like that? Also, the season 2 characters, should they have been there or should they have been cut? I mean, kind of touching on that. I mean, this is something with the Netflix Explorers. Why do people need to watch Stranger Things 2? Josh, characters, are they there, or was it kind of lame on the characters? You're excited for the story. Tell me about that a little bit.
No, I was excited for the characters.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed that Dustin got his teeth.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler alert. He's got teeth. Nice.
But I mean,
I mean, you're excited where they're going. I mean, you don't think that the puberty coming in soon is affecting any of these characters?
I think it might.
Not yet.
Okay.
But like you said, like we said, TBD.
Okay,
Who
TBD. Patrick, character-wise, are they going to be able to hang in, or do you think the next 2 is going to ruin it?
I watched the first 2 episodes. I saw a lot of, I think it's Dustin who's playing up his, not a lisp, but lack of front teeth. But from what you guys have just devolved to me.
Cranial dysplasia.
Yeah, I think that might reshape my whole entire views on season 2. So
okay,
I have to pass.
Adam, what about you? Do this thing? I mean, not legs in the in the story wise, but this thing character wise. Do you think through, as they progress from season 1 to season 2, do all these characters have room to keep growing, or do their stories kind of need to get cut? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone I would say, cut that guy.
Yeah.
is stupid.
Right.
You know.
Well, I mean, a lot of people hated the Steve character, and in season 2, I love the Steve character. I mean,
Indeed.
but what do you think? I mean, do those characters, somebody got to go, or what do you think?
Maybe Mad Max's older brother, he could probably go, but his whole purpose was to strengthen the Steve character in the second season, I feel like. So,
well put.
So even though there's some characters that come and go, they're in number 8 with 11. That she was. It was,
and
kind
that's
of
a whole podcast in itself. And
Yes.
Josh rolls his eyes at me if you watch it on the live feed. That one episode, I actually texted Josh while I watched was it episode 4 or 5?
Episode 8. Was it?
It was
8?
right in the middle.
Was it?
No,
episode 8
it wasn't.
for 8?
No, it's right because it was a cliffhanger of an episode. Like you're sitting there, it's like, oh my god, I get to play the next episode, and then it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I felt like it just cut the season.
Yeah.
Well,
just,
you know
just
what?
like a knife.
And
right
I'll tell
there.
you what, and we're going to kind of get away from all the questions here, but yeah, the first episode showed character 8, as Josh mentioned, and
never said a thing about her later. Until
and
later.
she had an episode a little bit later and never played that big of an impact from then on. I was texting my wife, who already watched it while she was at work, and I was just lightning texting, just firing off all these questions. And I went, what the heck is going on? What is she doing? Why is this episode in here? And she's like, just wait. So all those people who kind of watched the thing about 8, just hang tight.
I think my biggest problem with season 2 is the structure. I feel like instead of doing all this, build attention, stop 11 episode, final 2 episodes. I would like to have a little more 11 sprinkled in.
Yeah, it's
I
like
agree.
it gave the character 11 a little more than she needed. I don't know. But anyway, we're the Netflix Explorers. Watch it if you want to. Don't if you don't. Pull Patrick. Let's go. Let's talk.
Be happy. Be miserable.
Let's talk rewatch and recommendability. Josh, looking at you, are you going to rewatch season 2, or are you going to recommend it, or both?
I will probably rewatch. I'll probably rewatch season 1 and season 2.
Okay.
And I would definitely recommend it.
Tell it to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick, looking at you, man, you going to actually try to watch the rest of season 2, or tell anyone in their lives to watch it again?
No, I'm definitely not going to rewatch it, but I might recommend it just because so many other people recommend it.
Okay.
But, I mean, I can't really give my stamp of approval on it.
You're going to give the NetX majority stamp.
No, I wouldn't want to throw our name into it at that point. I'd give it like, hey, mainstream media wants you to watch it, so go ahead and watch it.
Okay. All right, Adam,
Fake news.
looking at...
And so it's on record.
Adam, looking at you, rewatch, recommend season 2 of Stranger Things.
Yeah, I think I'm going to rewatch it the same way. So I rewatched season 1.
Right.
I put it on my iPad, and I played FIFA 18 when the FIFA 18 came out.
So as a...
on
what do you call
Xbox Silver,
that? It's not
on
a vac.
Xbox
It's
Silver.
not a vac.
It's a FIFA act.
FIFA act. Okay.
Well,
it's a vac.
It's a vac.
Okay. a fac act. Okay.
So when FIFA 19 comes out, I'm gonna buy FIFA 19. I'm gonna rewatch Stranger Things 2, get myself set up for Stranger Things 3.
All right.
That's
cool.
I think that's gonna be my new
Pattern.
thing. Yeah.
All right. Well, if I ever pick up that game, I'm going to do the same thing because I think
Well, you
this...
gotta get an Xbox first.
Well, I got to talk to
I'm
Patrick.
I'm on it.
He's
Stop
my man.
reminding me. I'm on it.
I got you.
We playing BF3 tonight or what?
Please.
You got PS3 Gold yet?
Is that a thing? No, I will definitely rewatch this one. As Adam said, I want to revisit it before S3. Is that what we're calling ST3? Is that the hip thing?
ST3.
We're going to call it
ST3. Season.
Twitter hashtags.
Okay, so I'm going to call it hashtag ST3.
Very un-80s of you.
Indeed. I will watch it again. I really, really love the story. I love how it kind of grabbed from season 1. I just love these characters, so I definitely want to watch it again. Recommendability, for sure. I mean, anybody who's my age, anybody who's older or younger, it's just great to watch. So let's bring this down the liquor store aisle. Josh, I'm going to look at you. Stranger Things Season 2. What's your liquor store review for this one, brother?
I'd give this one a Crown Royal. Smooth. Sit back. Nice, neat drink.
Nice sipper.
Other than that, it's just a drink that I like and not too in-depth there. So
No, it's just a good drink overall. No ice needed. It's just a straight-up but good series. Patrick, bring this one down the liquor store aisle if you're able to, I suppose.
I really don't want to commit to a drink with this, so I just give it like just straight milk, no chocolate, nothing. It's just milk. It's
No
just
ice
real,
either?
No milk, room temperature milk.
Room temperature.
Yeah, I can't really get a gauge on this yet.
That's gross. That's
What
like
kind
right
of
out
milk?
of the
What kind of milk?
2%?
Oberweis.
2%?
2%. Obviously.
What a chump.
I mean, I'm not gonna give it like Strike Van Til off-brand milk. I don't want to give it that. I want to give it like at least some sort of milk that I know I would drink if I had the time to drink it, but I
Okay.
didn't.
So you're not an avid milk drinker and you're not an avid Stranger Things watcher.
Bingo. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not really committing to anything with it.
Adam, bring us down to the liquor store aisle, brother.
I gave this one a Makers and Ginger.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Preach to me, brother.
Dude, it's my go-to drink. It's
talk to me.
It's a go-to show
For sure.
You know, it's just you know, when you put that on, when you drink
Yeah.
that drink, you're gonna be good.
Oh,
so
man.
that's what you
Poetry.
roll.
Poetry.
I'm stealing right from you, dude. This is a Clan McGregor and Ginger Ale.
This is not the podcast I signed
take
up for.
I take it those are really high ratings when it comes to liquor store.
Definitely.
That's
Whenever
top of
Dale,
the
gives,
line.
whenever
It's
Dale
top
gives a
shelf.
bottom
It's
shelf,
top shelf.
drink, that means top shelf.
Oh yeah.
This
Dirtiest
is
tequila.
okay.
Dirtiest tequila.
Let's break this down. Clan McGregor is a bottom shelf. Clan McGregor is a bottom shelf blended Scotch, which is terrible on all accounts. But realistically,
Indeed.
mixed with ginger ale, this is the most fantastic
Preach, brother,
combination
preach.
of all types. Again, with Stranger Things 2, you're dealing with the 80s. You're dealing with what I would claim to be my era, although maybe age-wise I'm a little above, although due to my brother I'm dragged a little bit behind. But I love the era. I love the characters. I love this bottom shelf drink, and I love the mixture of ginger ale. It's just an out-of-place, weird type of drink that I love to put together, and this is exactly this type of film.
What kind of ginger ale?
Well, it's got to be Canada Dry.
Thank you very much.
You use Schweppes, and you're watching, Prison Break 3. I mean, that's just the way it's got to be right there. But
and drinking Aldi milk.
exactly, Aldi 3%. But I mean,
Plan and all these 3% just doesn't mix. You can't mix it.
all right, listen, guys, we got to get off the fence here. We got Mindhunter, Gone Baby Gone, and Stranger Things. Josh, looking at you, brother. Get off the fence. What is your watch? What is your pick of the week?
My pick of the week, Stranger Things 2.
Stranger Things 2. That's it. Patrick, looking at you. Mindhunter, Gone Baby Gone, Stranger Things.
It's obviously Mindhunter. Obviously.
Mindhunter it is. Adam, across the table, as always.
I would definitely go Stranger Things 2 for the audience, but I'm excited to see Mindhunter.
Definitely.
I wish I'm going to finish Mindhunter.
Strong second.
And then come back to that question.
I'm on board with Josh. This is a Stranger Things 2, but I will get back to Mindhunter. I will check it out. But hey, listen, guys, that's it for us. We're on Facebook. Adam, we're on Facebook.
I know. Like us.
Check us out at
Poke us. Do you can still poke?
I think you can still poke.
I don't know. That's
Josh,
the
can
thing
you
anymore.
poke?
I think you can poke.
Poke us.
Pokage.
We're the Netflix Explorers
You can poke
podcast.
anybody you want, Dale.
Yeah, that's America today. Find us on the Netflix Explorers. We are the greatest podcast ever. If you want to hop on iTunes, we're up there. Please subscribe. Please leave a rating. If you want to give us 5 stars, we'd appreciate it. If you want to give us less than 5 stars, don't bother.
Do that to a different podcast.
Also, we are on Twitter. Please follow us. We are at TheNetX. That is the NETEX. And follow us there. We're also, if you want to get on, Patrick's got some polls on the website. It is 1890studios.com. That's the 1890studios.com. We got the glossary up there. Sometimes we talk about some weird stuff. Robbing a film. Robbing a podcast. Whatever. I mean, check it out. We're up there.
Yes.
And so we'd appreciate that.
Last note, the advertising note, all advertising inquiries, please email Dale Norman at the 1890 Studios.
Well, I mean, that's Dale at 1890studios.com.
Sorry, I forgot about that. Anyway, this episode is brought to you by Altoids.
Yes, and keeping us fresh and ready.
There's a lot of bad breath out there. Altoids wants to cure bad breath.
Thank you.
One mouth at a time.
Fantastic. Josh, looking at you, man. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, brother.
You got it, bro.
Oh, it's been a good time, dude. It's been
Definitely.
a long time.
Yes, it's been a while. I'll be back, hopefully.
Anytime. You're always welcome. Patrick, looking at you, man, you are kind of the naysayer recently, kind of the downplayer of
Dude,
these.
Ireland lost today, man. He's in a
Can we stop talking about my native Jimmy
It was a
Lake
bad-
country?
I feel for you today. Ireland lost. They come here and talk about Stranger Things, a show he hates. It was just not a good day for Patrick, which makes it a great podcast, usually.
Patrick, thanks for being on the podcast, brother.
Yeah, you got it, Dale.
Adam, looking across from you, as always. Thanks for being on the podcast, dude. Manning the megaphone.
You like this little flare I put on the bottom of it?
Love it, brother.
Everyone in the live feed can check that out.
Ooh.
It's pretty solid. But yeah, dude, thanks for having me. Love podcasting.
Of course.
You know, things are good. Life's good. Podcast's good.
Life is good.
Can't complain.
Right on. All right, guys, we are the Netflix Explorers. We'll see you next week. And as always, we got to say arrivederci and adios.
Arrivederci.
Hey, why don't you roll a trailer real quick?
Don't tell me what to do.
Okay.